welcome to my WIP Parade. It's my 2024 WIP Parade. I'm afraid I'm on my own because Coco didn't want to come upstairs with me. So you have a new background, like a new place today, a new room that I'm filming. I decided, because I keep most of my WIPs upstairs, it was easier for me to come upstairs to do my WIP Parade than to try and take all of my WIPs downstairs. So we're on my bed today, so welcome to my bedroom. Apologies if it's a bit more cluttered, I don't know, but you know, this is what we're going with. So a WIP Parade. So obviously if you watch a lot of Flosstube, you'll know what a WIP Parade is, but to anyone that doesn't, it's basically just where I'm going to show you all of my projects. So WIP is a work in progress. So all of my stitching projects that I've been sort of working on, or that I have, and obviously the progress from this year. So I'm going to be putting in some screenshots from sort of my last WIP Parade that I did at the start of January this year, and then see sort of how much progress I've had on this year. And I'll also be adding in sort of my stitching progress, how many stitches I've done and whatnot. So what this isn't going to be, there's going to be no goals, no life update, so no December progress. This is just going to be my WIPs, because I figured it's going to be long enough without me then adding in like my plans for next year and everything. So that will be a separate video. But yeah, so I am going to section this video out a little bit into types of projects, because I was wondering how to do it, and I thought, well, I could do it in sort of order that I started, you know, like my oldest WIP to my newest, or I could do it in sort of ones that I've had the most progress on, and I thought, to be fair, the way that I'm looking at doing my plans next year, I want to have sort of all of my WIP sectioned into like my full coverages and my sals and my samplers and things like that. So I thought that's how I'm going to organise my WIP Parade, so that when I watch this back and I write down into my notebook all of my WIPs, that's the order they'll be in. That's my theory anyway, so that's what we're going to go with. Okay, so I think we're ready to start. Maybe. So I think I've got everything here. I'm not 100% sure. I know there's definitely a few bits that I don't have, like my finishes and that, but I will be just inserting a picture of them, because I think that's going to be better to insert a picture here than like all the way back here. I think I've piled them up in their correct piles, but yeah, I can't really show you, but like from this is like the halfway point of the bed, and the entire bottom half of my bed is just piles of WIPs. So I am trying to record this on both of my phones at once, because I had a new phone. So obviously I'm looking at this camera because I'm hoping that this is the one it's going to record on, but if this is the new device, so if the recording messes up, that's the one that I'll be going with. So if I'm not quite looking at you, it's because the device is wrong, but I hope that's okay. Okay. So I've got to stay well hydrated for this. It's going to be a long one. Okay, that's a bit heavy. But yeah, so get a drink, get your projects, and let's settle in. So I've got most of my WIPs. We're going to give it a go. So I know I've got this big pile here, but actually my first couple of WIPs I definitely don't have, and the reason being they're going to be my big hates. So we're going to start on with my full coverages section first. So these ones, they're attached to their scroll frames, and the scroll frames are quite big and cumbersome and heavy, so I can't actually lift them anymore, but I will insert pictures. So first of all, we're going to go with my Heaven and Earth designs. So this is the Supersize Max Colour Amazing Animal Kingdom by Amy Stewart. So this one I started right at the end of 2019 with the goal of having it done in 20 years. So I am a bit behind on that, because I think I worked out I had to do 5% a year, and I think I'm a year behind. But anyway, so this year I put in a total of 35,688 stitches, which took me to exactly 15%, which is my goal for this year. So I achieved that goal. But yeah, and I did take a little video, like a close-up sort of video sweeping across it, because There are so many details that you can't quite see like close up. Sorry, you can't see unless you're close up. So hopefully I'll be able to add that, but that footage is like on my old phone and I don't know. So it's there if it is, if I worked out how to do it, and if I did not, then it's not there. So we'll go on to the next one. Then my next piece is bath time. So this is another Heaven and Earth Designs, and this is a Selena Fenwick design. I do believe she's no longer on Haid as a designer, so I'm not sure if this is still available anywhere else. But anyway, there's this one. So, and I put in a total of 11,778 stitches in this, and that took it to 53.01%. So we just went over the 53% with this one. Again, that was my goal this year, and I achieved that. I can't remember all of my goals, but I know there were definitely those two. So we achieved those. Okay, and now on to actual projects. Conveniently enough, I actually put the pile of my full coverages behind the pile of everything else for like no particular reason. Right, here we go. So first up, this one, I don't have a cover photo for this because this is a chart that I did myself a long time ago. So I'm working this one from this paper copy, which is the only one I printed because conveniently I figured this was all I need. And this one was started in 2007. So that's how long I printed this chart. And you can see it's very small chart. But you know, it still works. We're still going on it. So I am thinking with this one, let me hold it up. Is this the right way? Yes. So here we've got a tree, we've got sort of part of the lake, there's a swan here, and there's a moon up here, and then it says Moonlight Inspirations in the corner. And I think what we decided, I say we in the royal term, I decided and told you guys, was I was going to crop it this way a bit, so I wasn't going to add the entire tree. But unfortunately, because I don't have an actual image of this anymore, the image I did have, I no longer have, and I can't find a copy of it online anywhere. I don't know what to type in to Google to try and get anything to come up, so I've not been able to find it. So because I'm not sure how much to crop off, what I'm trying to do is sort of complete from this direction, sort of in my 10 by 10 blocks sort of thing, complete across, and then I'm going to sort of keep stitching across in 10 by 10 blocks until I think the image is okay to stop at. Does that make sense? Like, you know yourself, if you're working along an image and you know if it looks a bit silly, and if you crop it a bit too much and think no, that looks daft, you know to crop it a bit bigger. Does that make sense? That's what I'm hoping to do with this one. So I've done the moon, and I've sort of worked down into the towards the lake. So that's what I'm doing here, and this is on an 18 count Ada, and I'm using conveniently a mix of DMC and Anchor for whatever nonsense I was on at the time. But yeah, but there's the moon and the words, and yeah, and I'm just moving down. These are quite long stripes of just the same colour, so it's basically, you know, you just go all the way along with the same colour for a while to mimic the water until we get down to the swan, and the swan's head starts there because I have put a couple of stitches into the swan. So about 10 more rows, 12 more rows I think till we reach the swan. But yeah, that's my plan for this one. So this year I only picked it up the once and only put in 600 stitches, which I think was the last stripe of here and a couple of rows. But yeah, so still plotting away at this one. Would be nice to get it finished, or you know, get it sort of to where I want to call it finished. But yes, I'm trying not to go into plans. I said I wouldn't, so I'm going to stop talking. But yeah, so that was I think I call it the Swan in the Moonlight, but it's also called Moonlight Inspirations. But yeah, we'll go with that one. So my next one I've got is the Turkish Angora. So this is a kit from by DMC, and I believe again I only worked on this one once, and I only picked it up sort of last month, I believe. So I have just started in the top right corner. There we go, and that's what I've started there. So I've just reached the ear, and I put in 200 and come on, I wrote it down, 253 stitches, and I'm converting this one to Royal Rose, which is a system developed by Alison Royal over on her Facebook page. So that's how I'm doing that one. But yes, so this is on a 14 count Ada. It's actually quite a nice Ada to work on, and I've had a problem with Adas in the past, but yeah, this one's quite nice and easy to work on, which is good. So would like to get that one finished to go with my the other one, which is the Persian cat that I had finished a few years ago. So oh, when did I start that one? Did I write it down? Oh yeah, I started that one in 2020. So yeah, it really hasn't had a lot of stitching, but anyway, my next one. So this is Place du Marche. So this is a kit by Michael Powell. Sorry, it's very crinkly packaging. Let me just try and pull that out. There we go. So it is a triptych, and I have all three, and I'm going to be doing all three onto the one. So you've got sort of column one, panel 1, panel 2 and panel 3. So I was starting on the left, top left corner, and yeah, I haven't picked this one up at all this year, which is a bit sad, but that's all I've got done. So it looks exactly the same as it did last year. So I basically worked along to the edge of the first panel, and because the charts come as 3 separate charts on paper, I was just working down. I was going to do the whole panel and then move on to the next one. I am conscious it might leave a line in between the 3, but I don't know how better to do it, whether to sort of get all 3, you know, or 2, but to get all the pieces out of sort of this chart and this one and start trying to work across, or, you know, so I could feather between them. I'm not sure whether that would be better, or whether you just wouldn't notice the line too much anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But we're sort of working along. I think I worked along to the edge there, and then because I wasn't too sure whether I would end up with a line, I sort of gave up and I started just working down on this side of the building, figuring that then when I got to this side of the building where the join is, that would then be, you know, future me's problem. So yeah, we still haven't worked too much on that one, but yeah, so it would be nice to get on then. It is quite sweet. So oh, and that is stitched Michael, okay, I can't get that back in right now. Michael Powell stitches up with anchor, kits up with anchor, so that's that one. Then my next piece is this is by Shiny Suns Designs, Shiny Suns cross stitching, and it's 3 Baby Dragons by Misty Woodkey, and that's the design there. So again, I'm starting top left corner on this one, and this year I put in 1,469 stitches, and that took me up to 9.67%. Oh, so again, this is on Ada. This is an 18 count Ada, and oh, there we go. It's a bit better. So it folds well. But yeah, so this was just black. When I was sort of colour completing with just the black, I came and did that chunk. But now I'm sort of parking in my diagonals, 10 stitch diagonals I'm doing there, and that's the wing. So yeah, so still enjoying that. Still struggling on it with Pattern Keeper. I did re-import it into Pattern Keeper the other day because there was a few issues with the charting and the the owner of Pattern Keeper said we'll try re-importing it. I did that, and I spent, I think it was just over 6 hours importing it, and there's still issues with the judging. So, but you know, it's better than working on the paper. It's copy, so I am going to crack on with it, but yeah, it's a bit harder to work on. Anyway, next is this is Medusa. So this is my piece by Unconventional Cross Stitch, and this year I put in 1,804 stitches. So again, I'm working on the top left corner, partly because this one I'm doing without the background, and I'm also thinking of not doing the moon either. So I will be sort of cropping that out as you know, as I get there. So I need to work out exactly where the moon is to her face to crop it out, which I'll probably do as I'm going with the colours, because I'll pick up a colour and be like, oh, clearly this isn't this is like a beige, which isn't her colour, it's background, and I can kind of work that way. Not too sure. Anyway, we'll get there. I'm miles away yet. That's future me's problem, as everything always is. So top left corner start, and this is the feathers coming out the top of her hair. So I'm doing this on 40 count, and it is 1/1 half cross, and this is a piece of fabric dyed specially for me by Kate at Sparklies. So I do have another piece of this because I bought a whole fat quarter, and obviously only needed the half, so I believe I do have the other half of this, because this is a cut edge and I'm pretty sure I cut it. So yeah, but basically I sent pulling the ends off. See, I need to yes I've got the ends. Need to run it through the overlocker. What was I saying? Oh yes, so I messaged Kate and said, you know, I want to stitch this design, but I don't want to stitch the background. You know, but can you dye me a piece of fabric that would work as background for it? Because I didn't want the background to just be white, because I thought that'd look weird. And yeah, that's what she did. So I believe the fabric is called Medusa's Gaze, but I believe she's not able to get some of those dyes, so she may not be able to dye that colour again. But anyway, I might have a spare piece, I think. So that is that one. So oh yeah, so that's at 1.63%. So yeah, just a baby start on that one. Then next I have, oh, this is Kingdom of Books. Where are we? And yeah, so this is from Make Your Own Hands company, and I am doing this as on the kit Ada, which I do sometimes regret not picking, because I know a few people have picked like a variegated like this sort of colour, so then they haven't needed to do won't need to do the background. So but I have done quite a bit, and it's like I don't want to sort of undo everything, you know, have to redo everything I've done. So I will keep plodding away. So this is 14 count Ada, and using the kit floss, and there we go. So I managed to finish this book here this year, apart from the back stitch. So I believe there's back stitch for the titles of the books, which I am going to rechart, because the actual pattern has them in the Cyrillian alphabet, and I'm going to translate that to English. So put the words in English, which I do have the translation from, I believe it was from the Handwork Maniac. She managed to get the translations, so she very kindly sent them to me as well. So they shut up, and then the times for the clock, which the clock times I was going to use to denote the year that I started and finished the design. So that will obviously go in later. But yeah, so that one I did 843 stitches on that one. So again, not too much. So it does have one of those quite awkward charts, sort of where it's just on one sort of giant piece of paper, sort of double-sided. Now one sort of quite clever thing is it does have around the edge of the chart a white border where all the fold lines are, so that, you know, I could even sort of cut it apart, which I might do one day, I just haven't got around to. But the main thing I'm getting at is it means that, you know, when you sort of fold and unfold and fold and unfold a piece of paper, a lot of times the actual fold starts to wear and some of the paper comes off. And obviously if you've got part of the design there, that sort of wears away and then you can't see the design. Whereas by having that white border, it means that even if that edge sort of wears, you're not losing any design. So I don't know if you noticed on my swan piece, I've actually got sellotape across where all the folds are, because I did start to lose some of the stitching, not the stitching, you know, some of the charting. So I had to sort of make sure I was taping all the folds. Whereas had I not printed on the fold, not that I know how to do that, but had I not do that, that would have been fine. So, but yeah, so I was just checking that both my phones were still recording. But yes, so that's that one. So what other full coverage do I have that I don't have right in front of me? There's another couple, a couple that I'd finished. So a young girl reading. So this was a project that I had right at the start of the year. And this was a by the Stitch Patterns. So it's a miniature sort of not reproduction, but it's like a miniature version that she does of lots of famous artworks, and one of them being a young girl reading by Caroline. I don't know if I wrote it down. Fozziar. Here we go. Yeah, I did write it down. By Jean Honore Frozengard. My handwriting is horrendous. But anyway, this is called a young girl reading. I did crop the bottom off to make it square because it was a portrait, and it's made just to fit in the cover of this little box, which had the holes in. So that's the back. And yeah, so this one I used, was it 3 or 4 strands of, I think it was 3 by the look of it. I think I worked. So I think I counted this, and I think I worked it out to be about 10 count. So I went up to three strands that I used, and yeah, it was a bit difficult obviously finishing off my tails on the inside because you had the edge of that. So I did have to be a bit sort of sneaky where I wove under. But yeah, but it was quite fun to you know, a new challenge to stitch on the wood. So this is like balsa wood. Still haven't worked out anything I want to put in it, but you know, it sits up here on my shelf. Probably needs a bit of dusting because it's been up there pretty much all year. But basically this was one of the first things I finished this year, and I put in 730 stitches into her and got her finished. So she can go back up there. Then another piece that I finished is, where are we? Is the Wheatfield and Crows. So again, this is by the Stitch Patterns, and this is a Van Gogh piece, and it was that piece just at the bottom there. And I did this one with 2 strands tent stitch. So I did that one, I'd done that one a previous year, one strand full cross, and the bottom one 2 strands tent. This is a 28 count, I believe, just to see how they compared. And yes, that one I put in 533 stitches to get it finished. But yeah, so quite sweet. So I want to do a few more of these. I need to get some sort of little frames as well for them, sort of little ornate frames that I can sort of frame some of them in. But yeah, so I did that one, and I think that is all my full coverages. Oh no, I have my market stall to show you, which that project is actually downstairs, so I don't have that to hand, so I will put in some photos. So this is another Heaven and Earth Designs piece. This was gifted to me by Dobby, covered in floss, and it is a design by Ciro Manchetti, called Market Stall. And yeah, this year I put in 1,740 stitches, and that put me to 0.58%. So not a big start, but we're getting there. So this one is also on a small count. So this is 1/1 tent stitch on 36 count. That's this one. But yeah, and it's just on a sort of a beige even weave. I think I got from sort of like it's like a fabric flare. But yeah, I was just conscious of I hadn't done a 1/1 a 1/110 stitch on 36 before, and I wasn't sure how much of the background would show through, and I figured a beige showing through would look less stark than a white showing through, so that's why I did it on a beige fabric. Plus these fabrics are just as cheap as regular white Aida a lot of the time, so not white Aida, white even weave. Right, now that's all my full coverage is done. Okay, so then the next section is going to be my samplers. So I do only have 3 samplers at the minute, or sort of 3 projects that I count as samplers. You might look at some of my others and think that's sort of samplery, but on my list I just have these 3. So the first one I have is Pandemic. Now I am still working on Pandemic this month, so I'm going to wait till the end of the month and add in a picture with my progress, so that it'll be a true sort of end of 2024 you know, picture, if that makes sense. So I will pop in a photo here, but this year when I started, did I write down where I started? Pandemic, where is it? Haha. Oh, come on, there you are, Pandemic. So this is a Long Dog Samplers, and what am I stitching this on? Oh, this is on a 40 count fabric. This is by a dyer no longer is in business. And this is a 40 count, and I'm doing 1 strand over 2, and I'm using Silks for You silk, and this is just sort of their sort of white, their undyed silk there. And yeah, this year when I started I was just on 10.11%. Obviously I will show you, I will add here where I'm finishing for the year, but yeah, so that is that one. And I think my goal is to reach the, is it 20 or 25% mark? Can I bring it up quickly? Where are we? Where's Pandemic? Haha. So yeah, my goal was to reach the 20% mark, and yeah, I'm almost there. So I'm hoping to have reached it before I put it in, so hopefully that'll be in there. Then my next sampler is Mary Eliza. So this is a Heaven and Earth Designs. This is one of their sort of little gems they put out. I think this is one of the first ones they put out back in 2020, and this year I put in just 500 stitches into her. So there we go, and I believe those 500 stitches were was it the letters that I went on, or some of the border? I think it was some of the border that I did, so I just took this border along up there. But yes, this is on a random piece of even weave that I found. I think it's 32 count is what I measured it at, and I'm doing 1/1 full cross with a sort of assortment of threads and sort of silks that I've got. But yes, so I'm trying to fold that one back up. So yeah, just 500 stitches on that one. Then my other sampler, this is Mary Eliza. No, that was Mary Eliza. This is Harriet Salt. So this is a big red sampler. It's a big Bristol sampler from 1886. So I'm working that and starting at the top, and I'm working the alphabets. And I believe my goal for this one this year was to finish the second alphabet, and I think all but 1 letter I am done, so I'm calling it done. I made an executive decision. So this piece I am working on a 56 count even weave. Is it an even weave and a linen? I think it's an even weave. No, it's a linen. So it's 56 count even weave. 56 or 52? 52 count. Whatever the normal size is. It's a standard size. It's not an odd one. Is it 52? Yeah, it makes 20. Goes down to 28. So no, it's 56. Oh my god, why was that so hard? It's a 56 count fabric. So, and there we go. So I've done the first 2 rows, which oh, I've got X. So apart from Y and Z, that is the first 2 alphabets complete. But yeah, this fabric is from Extrude Designs, and it was sort of a requested dye. I basically said, you know, can I have a sort of pinkish greyish piece for for this, and yeah, that is exactly what she did for me. And I'm trying to get it to fold there, but it's not having it. Haha, there we go. I always try and, when I put them away, I always try and fold them slightly differently, so that you don't end up with really harsh fold lines across your stitches. Anyway, the silk that I'm using for this is PR148, again from Silks For You. It's sort of blues, purples and pinks. So yeah, really loving that one. But yes, I love it even more if I haven't finished. But yeah, so this year I put in 975 stitches. I can't remember if I said that already. But yeah, so that's my 3 samplers done. So my next section is my sows. So these are sort of sows that were released as stitch alongs, as opposed to ones that I was sort of stitching along with someone else, or you know, sort of as a personal sort of decision. So these are ones that were released in sections. All of these sows, I believe, apart from one, are complete now, and I'm just lagging behind, so waiting to finish, but we will get there. First one, this is an Ink Circles, and this is the Mysterious Adventure project, which was a sort of choose your own adventure map, and here's where I got to. So I believe my goal for this year was to, I think it was to finish the water, but I sort of rechanged that as to finish sort of half of the map, which I almost got to. I think I would have wanted to put a few more bits in there. So I almost achieved this goal. So yeah, this was a sort of roll the dice to choose sort of to design your coastline and to pick the border and choose your objects and that. I did go on the dice roll to sort of pick the borders and the coastlines, but in terms of picking the objects, I'm sort of just going through and picking out what I fancy the most, or what would fit. Sort of I've got quite a thin section here, so it was sort of what would fit in there. This is all using DMC, and it's a combination of sort of over 1 and over 2 stitching, depending on the size of the item I wanted to include and its location. So sort of like, I think this ship is over 1 because I wanted it to sort of fit there, and had it been over 2, it would have taken up sort of the whole section, which was not what I wanted. So this is on a piece of fabric that was a 32 count. I bacon basted it as per Vonna, the Twisted Stitcher, as per her tutorial. And so sort of with tea and coffee dyed it, and yeah, so I think when I did measure it, I think it was nearer to a 34 count now, but that we got there. And how many stitches did I put into that? I did 1,373 stitches in that one. So there's that. Next project. So we've reached the first project that I haven't touched at all this year. Or is it the first one? No, maybe the second one. I don't know. This is the Bella Filipina sow from a couple of years ago. So this is the 4 mermaids. So you had spring, summer, autumn, winter. That was my start for spring. And yeah, didn't put any more stitches into her at all. So that is still just the first mermaid's tail there. But yeah, so no more progress on her, not yet. But yeah, so let's tuck that back in there. But yeah, that's I believe on a piece of 28 count fabric from Megan and Coffee Crafts fabric. So my next piece, this is the Fantastic Fungi Sow by no, I'll add it in if I can remember later. But and this was on a piece of Picture This Plus, and this is a finish. So this year I put in 5,557 stitches. to get this thing finished. I think at the start of the year I only had those bits, and yeah, she's all finished now, all back stitched as well. But yeah, I think the only thing I didn't put in was I remember saying in a previous video, this chart did have lots of sort of just speckles, like odd stitches sort of scattered around, which I elected to not do. I don't think it's missing them, but yeah, so just need to look at getting this one finished into a diamond. But yes, so all finished. So that was one of my goals this year, or at least it was definitely a goal for later this year. I wanted to get it done, and yes I did. So that one is all finished. Then my next project, this is Humans After All. This is a Clouds Factory chart, and this year I put in 894 stitches on it. So I bought this as a kit. So this is the kit fabric, which I no longer have the tag for, but it's whatever was originally called for. I don't know if I did Google it, I can't remember. There we go, it's Ancient Picture This Plus. So it's a 32 count, and yeah, I think I almost made it to the end of this row, but this what is it, this mosque here sort of really knocked it out of me, because that was getting that mosque to stay even was really hard, because I made a mistake, and then trying to get it to line up, yeah, so yeah, I stopped at what was it, what did I say, 894 stitches for that one. But yeah, I was done, but that was that one. Then next, this is my Greenhouse of Oddities Sal. So this is by Lola Crow, and this is on a piece of 32 count, 36 count, 32 count from Megan, Coffee Grass Fabric. And there we go. So still working on the border. I put in 3,742 stitches this year. I believe, was this a start this year? Yeah, I believe I started this year as well. So that's what I did there. But yeah, still working my way along the border. Sort of almost, I think that's the ground there of the other side. So yeah, so just need to finish the border for the other little sort of what do you call it, annex, a little annex, and then I can get working on some of the plants, which will be a lot more colourful and more fun. So yeah, this one I am stitching along with my sister. So if I get a chance, I will ask her if she can send me a picture of where she's got to as well, and I can pop that in. She started slap bang in the middle of her design, so whereas I say I wanted to start as the Sal, so the Sal had already finished, but I thought no, I want to go through as the Sal worked, so I'll start on piece 1 and then piece 2 and and Sophie just went to the sort of got the last section up where it was the full design and started straight in the middle. So she started with sort of I believe the corpse flower and some of the really brightly coloured plants, which is quite fun. So, but that's where she started. Like I said, I'll pop a picture in if she can get a picture to me before I post this, but we'll go from there. So my next piece, next Sal, this is the, no, I can't remember who the designer is, but it is a blackwork Sal. It's not coming to me. This is a 36 count in weave called Nantucket from Fabric Flair, and this was I was supposed to work on this like every day last year and get it finished last year. No, I did not. So this year I was like, oh, I'll get this finished. No, and I have not picked this one up at all this year to work on. Or if I have, I think I've done like 5 stitches. So I do still love these colours, but yeah, it's just a matter of picking it up and getting going. So I'm doing the it was their free sort of sale for the year, and I was doing the hexagon version, and this is using a pack of threads that conveniently is not in here, from Zoe at paint box threads. So these I believe are the pearl 12s. So she does pearl 12s and pearl 8s, and she also does silk, but I believe these are the pearl 12s, so the slightly finer ones. And yeah, I think they work out, thickness wise, they work out to about 1.5 DMCs sort of ish. So I'm using that for those. The next project I've got, this one also has not been worked on at all. This is a sal from Lakeside Needleworks, and it is the Woodlands sal from many years ago. So this is, like I said, from Lakeside Needleworks, Lakeside Needlecraft, and it's on the fabric flare that was specially dyed for it, called Woodland. So it's 36 count even weave, and that's still where I am. So when I get it straight, so there we go. So just still the owl, but yeah, still the first piece, all finished. The first bit is, but yeah, still going. So it's the reminder. And there we go, my pile's getting a little bit unsteady. Let's clear that space, and then I can tip that down. There we go. Right, so my next piece, this is again a piece that I've not touched this year. This is the Glitter Village sal by who did this one? It's one of the two, Country Cottage Needleworks this was. And this one I am so close to finishing, so just that bottom row to do. One reason this one's stalled is because I cannot find the final section of it, the final piece, and that was really bugging me, so that's why it's stalled on that one. But I will get there, and that's using the kit fabric. Well, I think I bought it as a full kit from Patchwork Rabbit, so it was the kit fabric as one piece, and then the DMCs and the specialty flosses for that one. So let's see, another piece that I haven't worked on this year is my other houses one, or not houses but buildings. This is a Little Dove Designs. This was their High Street sal, and I've done 4 out of the 5 or 4 out of the 6 shops. So still working on the cafe. So yeah, no progress on this one at all this year. But yeah, so again, that was bought as a full kit from Little Dove Designs. So yes, but one day I'll get these finished. Then my next piece is, oh no, let's do my other one first. I think I put it in the wrong pile. Yes, here it is. So this is my Wonders of the Solar System. Again, this one has had no progress this year, and still there, just 2 circles. So yeah, still still no progress. I mean, it would be nice to get that one done, especially now I've got a little nephew, because it'd be nice to sort of show him, you know, like some of the stars and constellations on it. Might be cute. But what have I put in there? Oh yes, this was, oh yeah, I've got all my threads in a separate box I got from Ladybird. So separate little floss, not floss bag, but like a notions pouch. Which is actually quite nice. So I might have to get some more of these notions pouches. And I don't know if you can see the little charm, put it that way. It's a little pair of stalk scissors. But yeah, little charm. So, you know, one day I will get all my projects finished. One day when designers stop designing new things and we stop buying stuff, then I will get it finished. So then here we go. This is, oh gosh, oh my god, right, okay, let's try and untangle. There we go. Ah, right, gosh, This is my temperature cell that I also have not touched this year. So this is on a piece of 36 count cloud stone from Sew It All. Again, it's fabric flare. It is very creased, very crumpled because it had been screwed up in the bottom of this bag all year. But yeah, this is my temperature tree. I was doing a pair of these. This is by Stitching Mummy. And I was going to do a pair of these. So this one is for the year that I was born. And then I was going to do, obviously, a sister piece to the year that I turned 30. Because I started this one in the year that I turned 30. And that was my plan. Have I finished? No. So by the time I get that first one done, I might be nearly 40. So it'll be my year of birth and my 40th. Who knows? But anyway, I don't think there's actually that much left to do on that one. I think all told, when I looked, it was just, was it 30? No, 30. 1,000 stitches. What's left? 1,348 stitches left to do on it. So really not a lot. But I think it's just time to sit down and do it. I think it's the colour changes put me off picking that one up to do because there's a lot of colour changes. But yeah, I will get there. So my next sal, this is a new start for this year. This is the Frosted Pumpkin Stitcheries sal, and this is on a piece of 40 count linen. I will find my start in a moment. There we go. It's a very small start. So I started with the Arctic Fox right in the middle. This is their Arctic Animals sal, and I put in 280 stitches. That was my little start right there in the middle. And this one has almost finished now, I believe. Sal is, I think there's only maybe a couple of bits left to come out. But yeah, and I'm stitching that using the raw broderie floss from Lindsay at Blushing Pink Stitches. And I'm conveniently using the envelope from her as my project bag. So, because I haven't got around to getting a new project bag out. Yes. So there is that one. So that is, as far as I know, all of my sals. And now we go on to the biggest pile, which is basically the everything else pile. Actually, I lied, because I've just seen my Dark Queen, which was also a sal. So I got my Dark Queen of the Sea piece, and there we go. So this one I worked on this year, and I put in 7,881 stitches into her this year. So yeah, still getting there. I believe what have I got left to do? I've got her hair and her face to finish, this one corner, and then that bit down the bottom under her dress, so the ground and her legs, and then just the back stitch and beads. So I say it's just that amount, but I know it seems like a lot. But yeah, still plodding away on this one. I would like to have this one finished before obviously they launched their next Fancy Lady sal, or Dark Queen sal. Obviously I don't know when that's going to be, so we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully I'll have it finished by then. Well, I need to finish it before I at least start the next one, so you know, that's the rules. But yeah, so now we can get on to the last section. So like I said, this is the big section because it's basically the everything else. So I am just gonna pause here because I just want to double check that I have shown everything from those sections. Okay, so I hope you all took that opportunity to go and grab a drink. So we're probably at about the halfway mark, I'm guessing. But yeah, so let's start, and I'm just going to start at the top of the pile, and we'll work our way down in no particular order. So first up, this is a piece by John Clayton. So this is one of his Elegance miniatures. So this is Charlotte. But yeah, I do like quite a few of his miniatures. There's a few on the back there. And this one I put in, oh gosh, how many stitches? 2,827 stitches, and this was basically a start and a finish because I had to restart her. But yeah, so got her started and finished this year. She's all done and ready for framing. So not sure how I'm going to finish her yet, but how I'm going to frame her. But yeah, all finished. So yeah, I believe that was one of my goals this year, was to finish her. So yeah, all done. So I'm going to put this next pile now, so it's just going to have to squish onto this one. Here we go. So now I've got a couple that I haven't worked on at all this year. So this is a Bothy Threads. This is one of the Rendell designs. This is called Afternoon Nap. And yeah, there was my tiny little start right in the middle and a little line there. I don't even know which way up this goes. And yeah, didn't put anything into that one at all this year. Yeah, my next piece, this is another Bothy Threads design, and let's see, this is the Menagerie. So this is Illusion, so the chameleon, and still where I was last year. And there we go. So still just in that one. I think I was struggling with the paper copy of this, so I do need to sort of photocopy it so that I can sort of try and mark it off with a highlighter. I think I was sort of struggling with some of the symbols, being able to see what I'd done with the pattern being so uneven. With the patterning being so uneven, it was difficult to see which spot I'd already stitched on the pattern. So yeah, that one's there. This one, again, I haven't worked on. So many of these I haven't worked on, which is very sad. But yeah, this is Ship in a Bottle by Maria Brovko. Cute Patterns by Maria, and that's just the ground. Yeah, just the ground. So again, no more work done on her yet. But yeah, that's on a random piece of 36 count even weave that I found. Yeah, next up is, what is this? Oh, I believe this is my other Rendell designs. So this is Awakening, which is the hedgehog, and again, no extra work into this one this year, so it's still just that tiny little square in the middle. There we go. Not a square, you know, a blob, tiny little blob in the middle. So yeah. So next is, you know what, let me pick something I have worked on this year. Have I got anything I've worked on this year? Yes, I have. Haha. Max the cat. I worked on this one this year. So this is a dimensions kit. I swapped out the Ada for this. So this was done on a 14 count Ada, and I've swapped it for a piece of even weave, I believe in a 32 or 36, so it is a lot smaller. So I didn't think my decision through quite fully, because sometimes, as some of you know, with the dimensions kit, it will say to use, you know, 2 strands or 3 or 4 or 5, and maybe 5 strands on 14 count Ada is okay. On 36 count even weave, it is definitely not okay. So but yeah, but this year I put in 897 stitches into Max, and that was basically his fur here. But yeah, so that's still the working on the top panel of him. Oh. Yes, switch that back in. Okay, so next is, oh, stand that up so it doesn't fall out. This is another dimensions. This is what is it called? Sunlit Fox. This one. This is done on the black Ada, and yeah, I haven't worked on this one at all, so it's still the orange blob right in the middle. Ooh. Yeah, still just the orange blob. I think that's the top of his leg, or the top of his tail, top of his leg, I think. But yeah, so no more progress into that one yet. I know I can get the digital versions of some of these dimensions charts from the Dimensions sort of designer company. I think it's just one of those getting around to emailing and asking for them. So as to whether that would make it easier to work on, I'm not sure. But you know, we'll see. I might just try and sort of scan the PDFs into Pattern Keeper. That might help. Anyway, next we've got the Janlin. This is the Winter Sampler by Cooler Design Studio. And this one I have swapped out for whatever the kit came with, because I got this as a second-hand kit, and with the lady had started, but where she started, she sort of literally started right in the corner of the Ada. There was no border, so some of her stitches were starting to sort of pull out. So I restarted this on a piece of Fabric Flare 28 count even weave. And yeah, no more progress has gone to this one this year, so that is still just the sort of countdown ribbon there. But yeah, I believe I had done part of this snowflake border, but I did have to unpick it because it was in the wrong place. I think I'd forgotten to leave the dark line, the black line, so then it meant that where it went into these trees here was going to be off and over there. And I thought, you know what, for the sake of sort of 20 minutes of work, I'll just unpick it instead of having to deal with making a change the whole way along. So yeah, so in fact I've done less work than I could have, because I had to unpick part of the work I had already done. But anyway, so I would like to get that one finished. I have toyed with doing the other 3 as well. I was doing all 4, but I think is it the summer or the spring that I wasn't as excited about as the other seasons. You know, I looked at it and I was like, I'm not quite, and I thought I don't want to do all 4 just for the sake of doing 4, so I might just do the winter one and stop there with that. But yeah, so my next piece, this is my Chatelaine. Oh, and this is Pomerium, and this is on a kit that I got straight from the place where you get the Chatelaine kits from, European Cross Stitch, I think it is. But yeah, so again, haven't touched this one this year. Where's the front? That's the front. So this is on just the white linen that was supplied. And there we go, that's just part of the central mandala. I can't remember which way up is. I don't think it matters really at the minute, with it being, you know, just the central piece. But yeah, so still working on that one. But yeah, oh, I still got the, probably need a bigger project bag for this one, because it's a giant kit. There we go. What have I got next? Oh, whoops, making a mess. So next we have another Bella. So this is the Enchantress of the Abyss. This is my other Bella Filipina. This one I have worked on, and I did 1,700 stitches on this one. So I popped this one into, so yeah, I scanned this one and popped this one into Pattern Keeper to help work on there. And yeah, so got a lot more of her hair done, and I believe, where does it say? No, but yeah, so got a lot more of her hair done. But yeah, so still loving this fabric. I believe this fabric was from, have I got the ticket still? Fiberlicious Yummy Fibres. So it's a Jewels of Atlantis is the fabric. But yeah, so I do love the greens and the blues. I sort of found we're a bit more blue than in that picture, but I really like the kind of tealy blues, so I felt it really suited it. Squish, squish, squish. Right. Oh, there we go. So next up we have another Dimensions. So this is one of their minis. So this is a Dimensions Gold Petite. This is called Seashell Treasures. Again, no work into this one. It's still exactly where it was the year before. Let me try and move. Why is that? There we go. Try and move my pin. But yeah, so still just that first sort of seashell. And yeah, I believe I was parking with this one because there's quite a lot of colours and colour changes, so I just ended up parking because I couldn't be bothered to keep sort of tying off my threads. But yeah, so still working on this one. Still quite handy having it on this little frame that I found. I believe it's an LBZ. It looks like an LBZ. But yeah, it's quite handy just having the tiny little scroll frame. Especially for a tiny little kit. Yes, so there's that one. And next, this is my Soda Stitch designs. This is the mini Tea Time. And yeah, this one I have put in 839 stitches. And I met my goal on this because I wanted to finish the teapot, and that I did. So I finished the teapot and started the cake, or the teacup. Is it a teacup? I think it's a teacup, but yeah. So I finish the cake in the teapot and start this one, and yeah. So there's that. So that's on the Kit Ada kit fabric and everything. So next, again, no progress on this one. This is a piece out of a magazine, and it is by Maria Diaz, so it's Maps and Mythology. It's that piece there. There's really not a lot of stitching on it because most of it's empty space. But yeah, so still, that's all the work I've done. This was done 1/1 full cross on a little scrap of 32 count. That would fit. But yeah, so still working on is it the, yeah, oh no, have I just finished? No, still working on the content of Europe and Asia. But yeah, so I think I've just got a little bit more of the shading to do on Asia, and then the water. But yeah, so still working on that, you know. Again, one day I'll get it finished. But yes, that was from the Ultimate Cross Stitch Travels magazine. So oh, where are we? Let's pop that back in there. Then next one I've got, this is my chessboard. So this is by Doodlecraft Designs. Have I got front picture? There it is. So this is her Coloris chessboard. And it was a, you know, you could, I mean, I think the idea was to stitch it in any of the DMC Coloris threads. So I picked thread colour, what is it, DMC 4515, which is sort of the browny blues one. But yeah, and still only there. So what's that, a quarter of the way? What's that, 368? Yeah, so it's still only about a quarter of the way through the squares. Obviously, and then I've got the border to add tack on as well. So yeah, still plodding along with that one. I think I know I've got another chessboard from her that I bought recently to do as well at some point. So next up is my Mirabilia. So I'm really sad that I've not picked this one up this year. I've not managed to roll it. So this is Veronica. And stitching this one as a kit. And oh gosh, so many loose threads. Ah, getting all tangled. Right. Gotcha. Right, there we go. Right, so still in the top half. I think I'm still working on the skin of her arm, but yeah, so still no progress on this one. But yeah, hoping obviously to get this one finished as a Marie Curie piece. So I think the green sort of reminded me of like the radium, and I believe as of me recording, Marie Curie is still the only person ever to have been awarded 2 Nobel Prizes in 2 different sciences. So she's the only other woman to have done that, but also the only person to ever done that, male or female, which is good. And so I want to do that piece to commemorate her. Oh, and this piece. This is Ink Circles Castle Walls. This was my big goal for this year, to get this one finished. So I've had this. I had this as my New Year, New Start back in where are we? Did I write it down? Castle Walls. Yeah, it's my New Year, New Start in 2020, and I hope to get it finished in 2020. And we are now in 2024, but it is finished. But yes, so managed to get it all done. So really proud of myself for that one. I can't wait to get this one framed. The only issue I've encountered with this one is because I stitched it mainly on a scroll frame, is it's actually now it's wider one way than the other way, because obviously it's been stretched quite hard. So I'm going to need to do some quite serious blocking on this one to get it to return to square. But yeah, so washing and blocking, which I'm not looking forward to. But it is finished. So I stitched this one on a piece of Fabric Flare Cloud Grey, and it was a 36 count even weave. And then the 2 threads I used were both Silks for You silks. I had PR 069 and 147. So these are the silks that I used there. But yeah, all finished. But yeah, so really happy with this one. But yeah, so there's the back. In case anyone wanted to see, just the back. The back on this one's quite neat. So because I was only using 1 strand, it just made sort of 10 off the ends quite nice and neat. But yeah, so and then back to the front. But yeah, really happy with that one. Not sure, I don't think it really matters which way's up. I think it's charted for this to be the top, but I mean it's symmetrical. Obviously each section has a different design in it, but they're all designed to be viewed, you know, top up, sort of like that. So yeah, not sure how we're framing it yet, finishing it, but yeah, I don't know if you can tell, that way it's a bit wider that way than that way. That way, yeah, so I can tell, but I know it's longer one way than the other. So but yes, like I said, I'm not sure how I'm going to finish that because I need to get it blocked first, and then it depends if I can get it blocked and sort of squared up or not. If I can't sort of get it squared up nicely, I might have to see if I can get some help from a professional framer to try and square it up. But yes, that one is all finished. There we go. And have I, so I didn't even tell you how many stitches I put into that one. So that one I put in 5,600 stitches into her. I say her, it's not her, but yeah. But yeah, a few other pieces that I finished now, so I don't have them here. These are pieces that I had finished, and they are in various other places around the house, so I will be adding in pictures. So I did my Black Moon cat that I worked on, so I finished and framed that, and I put in 1968 stitches into that one. I finished my little over one sort of raven, so that was taken from the Hag bookmark. So I put in 204 stitches into that and managed to get her all finished. Still looking for a little cabochon to finish her in. I did finish the Black Lives Matter pin cushion, which is by Modern Folk Embroidery. So I put in 656 stitches onto this one. This was the fabric I used for these two, was a piece of sort of quilting fabric from Sparkly's. So it worked out to about 78 count. So the Black Lives Matter pin cushion I did 1/2 with a DMC, and the Hag I did 1/1 using a piece of microfill polyester thread. So then I worked on, I put in 3,626 stitches into a small I finished for the A Real Spooky Event stitch along, which I don't have any pictures of because I gave it away at the event and didn't take pictures. So I've just had a drink and now I've got hiccups. Oh. So another project I started was Grateful. So this was by Emma Congdon. It's in one of her books, and it's called, I don't think her designs don't have names, they're just charts. So the words on it was to live each day with a grateful heart. And I put in 5,790 stitches into this one and got it finished into a little cushion for Daleen, who was her channel was So Grateful, who passed away this year. Then I started the B tier from Erin Elizabeth Designs. So I put in, this one took 2,421 stitches, and no, I still haven't put on the wings for that little bee, so I still need to do his little wings. But I got this one finished, and this was as part of the sale with Stitching with My Littlely, and they had it's still ongoing, so it's the 3 Cheers for Trade Tiers sale, and yeah, it's still ongoing. They're still working on theirs, and also I know my mum's still working on hers that she was doing for that sale. So that's that one there. Then the next one that I picked up that I started was the Live Love Live Laugh Lobotomy, and that one I put in 2,985 stitches to get that one finished, and that was by, was it Raven Coven? I can't remember now. No, that's not going to help. But yes, so I stitched this one with Dobby at Covered in Floss, and she has, I believe she's just started as one of her 24 and 24 for December, you know, one new start each day of December. But she has changed the colours, so they're all shades of pink. So she's doing that one, and that one looks really cool as pink. Anyway, here's mine, and that was that one. Have I got anything else that I missed? Let's have a look. I've got like three different notebooks here with it all written in. So I'm just trying to cross reference and make sure I've said everything. Yes, I believe I have. So one thing I didn't do was actually count as I was going, so I don't know how many we've got, so I might have to come back after sort of watching it back through and add a little bit onto the end, letting you know how many projects there was, and obviously what I achieved for my goals. So yeah, so I think I'm going to leave that there, so as my actual WIP Parade part, and yeah, I will see you again. Obviously for you it'll be in about 3 seconds, but I will see you again when I've got all my numbers, and I can let you know how much progress I've had. But yes, so yeah, so thank you very much for watching my WIP Parade, and I will see you back in a moment with sort of my numbers, how many projects I've got, how many finishes I've had, and all that lot. So I will see you in a bit. Hello everyone, and welcome back. I know it's only been, like I said, about 2 seconds for you, but it's been a few days for me. It's taken a while to edit all of that together and put all the little like cards, not cards, but you know, where I say what the WIP is and do all my counting and stuff. So we're all sorted. I went and woke Coco up because I remember she wasn't in my WIP parade, so she has to come and pay her tax and come and appear in this one. So she's not too happy because it's cold out here in the conservatory, and she was all snuggled up in her nice new bed that I bought her for Christmas. So if I remember, I'll take a photo and pop that in. Yes, she's barely left it since I got her it on Christmas Day, and we're now on like the 29th. So I definitely did a good pick with that one. Yeah, we're done. You can just sit there. Yeah, there we go. But anyway, so like I commented at the very end of my WIP parade, I actually missed 2 of my WIPs out completely. So one was the celebration of colour sale that I did quite early on in the year with Roz Clark Craft, and one is this one that I'm literally working on it right now, and I don't even know why I forgot about it. But it's not quite finished. I was hoping to have this done by the end of the year. I've got like 2 days left, so I might get it done. But this, oh, by then, this is the Study of Skulls cell by, oh my god, I didn't even look. I did none of the homework. Who's it by? Oh god. The Stitch Crypt. See, I knew I'd get there. Right, the Stitch Crypt. This is their Study of Skulls cell. And so this is better. Now, the only part that I've still not done, if you look, there's lots of gaps in this plant here and sort of in the frog and a few over here. I still don't have that spare thread. I have ordered it, but obviously I know it's like the middle of Christmas and New Year and everyone's on holiday, so the thread will come when it comes, and then when it gets here I'll stitch it then. Like, I'm not really bothered when it turns up, sort of thing. I know it'll be here soon. So okay, so I started off going way into detail on this, but actually I'm going to keep that for my regular December update, which I'll be filming tomorrow. And today I'm just going to sort of show you this is where I am, rather than going into all the finikities. So this was a start, sort of Halloween. So the week of Halloween I started this, and the completed cell is out now. So it has been released. I've just got a little bit here to do, and that one piece. So I'm not going to be, even though this probably will be going into next year, I'm not going to be sort of listing it as a WIP on my list of WIPs, because it's literally going to be like 2 days and then it'll be finished, and I don't want to have to add it to like my WIPopoly board and everything just for, you know, a couple of little bits of stitching. So I'm hoping I will continue to work on this till it's done, or until I've got one more thread coming, so until that's come, and then that'll be done. But yeah, so this is on another piece of Megan's fabric, so 28 count linen in this colourway. But yes, so that was a start this year and an almost finish. So I was hoping to have it finished for today, but not quite. So fingers crossed for the end of the year. But yes, so Coco, you like, it's dark. It's 7 o'clock at night. You're not going outside. She's pouring at the door. Like it's -3 out there. What's wrong with you? Anyway, so I have all of my numbers. I've done all of my sums. I have everything written down. So let's do a quick goal recap. So this isn't going to be goals for next year. Like I said, that's going to be a separate video. This is just the goals that I set at the start of 2024 and sort of how I've progressed with them, and like, you know, where I am now with my number of WIPs. Okay, so at the start of the year, if you remember, I set myself quite a lot of goals. Basically, as I was doing my WIP parade at the start of the end of 23 and the start of 24, as I was holding up the WIPs, I was like, okay, this year I want to do this, and this year I want to do this, and I actually set myself quite a few. I think, was it 20, 24? I wrote it down. Where's my piece? I set myself 24 goals. I completed 11 of those goals. and I made decent progress on a further 5. So you know, so there's what, 16 out of the 24, so what's that, that's 3/4 of the goals I either made decent progress or I achieved. So, you know, I think that's an acceptable amount, because 24 goals was a lot, you know, a lot of goals. And I think I remember even as I set them, like when I was doing that, I was like, oh my god, this is too much, like I know I'm not going to achieve all of this. So the goals that I did achieve, so my sort of main 3 that I really did focus on this year was my Max Colour Hade, my Animal Kingdom. So I wanted to get to the 15%, which I did. My bath time, it's my other Heaven and Earth designs. I wanted to get to 53%, which I did. My pandemic, I wanted to get to 20%, which I did. Then a few others. So where are we? So finishes, I want to finish my Van Gogh's Wheat Field with Crows, which I finished that, and then my other small stitch, small artwork, which was Young Girl Reading, which was on the box, so I finished that one. I wanted to finish Charlotte, so the girl lady with the green hat, which I finished. I wanted to finish my Castle Walls, my Big Ink Circles piece. That was a focus on a finish, and I finished that. My Black Moon Cats, my Dimensions, that is just a black cat in front of the moon, so I finished that one, and I got that fully finished and framed. My Fantastic Fungi Sal, I finished that. And was that it? Oh, yes, that was all the actual finishes. And then, so that's 6 completed finishes that were goals that I did. Then my Harriet Salt, I wanted to finish an alphabet, and I did call it, I'd finished, apart from 2 letters, I'd finished the rose, so I'd finished that one. My Mini Tea Time, I wanted to finish the teapot, which I did. And is that everything? Yeah, and that was it. So that was the 11 goals that I reached. I think it is, because that's all the ones that are ticked. So there we go. But yeah, so you know, yeah. So that was, whoops, let's try and bookmark that page so I can open it again. There we go. So that was all the goals that I achieved across the year, so I'm really proud of that one. In terms of another goal I had was to get my number of whips down. So at the start of the year I sort of set myself the aim that in order to have a new start I had to have finished 2 projects. So for every 2 finishes I would have 1 start, and I very almost made it. So this year I had a total of 13 finishes and technically 8 starts. So I think in my parade it only had 7, but I had the skulls as well, which made it 8. Although in terms of my sort of 2 for 1, I wasn't including the memorial piece that I did for Daleen, because that was an additional sort of start and finish that I was doing just for her, so that came on its own. So yeah, so if you take that one off of my sort of 2 for 1, then I finished 13 and I started 7, so I was 1 finish shy. And I was hoping to have the skulls finished, which would have been the 14th finish for the year. So I was so close to having my 2 for 1 all the way through. So I am quite proud of that, that I managed to do that one. So out of those sort of 8 starts that I had, 5 of them I did start and finish straight off. So only 3 of those are going to be going into next year, which are my greenhouse that I did, the Arctic Animals, which is the new sale that I started, and then technically the skulls, but that's only going into the new year like a tiny bit. So only 2 are going to be added to my WIP list, which I'm really happy with. So in terms of my WIP list, so I started the year with 45 WIPs. However, next year my list is, I'm only going into next year with 38. So yeah, so I did get it shorter, and even better than that, I actually managed to get it down to just one page. I mean, right to the bottom line, but exactly 1 page. So which I was very proud about. So yeah, so only 1 page going into next year. But yeah, what else have I got? So yeah, so this year, out of all my WIPs that I started with, so the 45, I managed to touch 26 of them, but I didn't touch 19 of them, so I didn't even get them out, which means that I only worked on 60% of my active WIPs, which, I mean, it's more than half, but it's still a lot less than what I was hoping. I know as I was going through my WIP parade and I was holding it up and I was like, oh, I've not worked on this, and I've not worked on this, and I've not worked on this, and it was quite disheartening to see all the amounts that I haven't worked on. So in terms of how I'm gonna make sure I'm working on a lot more things, that's something I need to think about for my new goals going forward. But and lastly, my total stitches that I did, I managed to do 128,824 stitches up until today. So obviously I've still got a couple more days left of the year to do some more stitching. So if we round that up a little bit, but say I do another 1,200 over the next 2 days, so that puts me up to 130,000 stitches, which I think is quite a lot. So that's an average, what, almost 11,000 stitches a month, which I think is an acceptable amount to be working on. So it's all great having these splints, but I tend to get the ends of the rings caught on like everything, which is really inconvenient. Yeah. So also another quick goal is I actually managed to use this all year, so which was one thing that I was really nervous about at the start of the year. I tend to really struggle with keeping going with sort of diaries and sort of journals and things like that. I tend to sort of use it for a couple of months and then run out of steam. But I found using something like this, like I said, I have used it every single month right throughout the year. Obviously mine does not look as pretty as a lot of other people's. I know if you go and watch Elaine over at Ellie Willy Stitcher, she sort of themes hers, she decorates hers with stickers and sort of uses it to sort of highlight lots more things, and it looks a lot more fun to use and a lot more interesting. But I know if I went too much into it, I would also run out of steam, so I just wanted to keep the bare bones, which I did, and I'm really grateful for this that I did use. So obviously next year, I'll try and get it from the bottom of my pile. Next year I'm going to be going into using one of these. So this is a 5-year diary by, I'm sure the name is there. It's by the Lovely Little Press. So there. It was just from Amazon. And this has a very similar sort of layout, just a month to a page, as this one did. And yeah, and that's what I will be going forward with that. So but yeah, so that's what this was. So yeah, I'm really proud of myself that I managed to keep going with this one. But yes, so I don't think I've got anything else. I'm very conscious of trying not to sort of step into next year's plans, because I do want to keep that just as one video, because I'm aware this one is about an hour and a half at the minute. I did already manage to cut out quite a lot of sort of little tangents and things, as I do, but I am trying to sort of leave more of myself in the videos. So a lot of videos and that I tend to crop out. Maybe about 60% of the video gets sort of, you know, edited out, because I sort of say things on the video and then when I listen back and record and I'm like, oh, no one needs to know that, no one cares, like, you know, and sort of just crop it out. And I want to stop doing that as much, because partly because it's really time consuming for me going in and editing it, but also then it sort of feels less genuine. Sort of what you're seeing on the video is not really how I am in real life. So yeah, so I am trying to leave a bit more in the videos. So yeah, hopefully, you know, that's fine. Hopefully you're fine with that. suppose only time will tell. But yeah, so that is everything. So that's how I've done with my goals. And oh, hello, you're back here, yeah. Well, you gonna help? Yeah, good girl. So yeah, so thank you very much for joining us this year. Oh, you're not very comfy, are you? There we go. But yeah, so thank you very much for joining us both this year. So I'm very grateful for everyone that is watching, and whether you've been with me all year or you've joined part way along. Are you gonna look at the camera? No. So, but yeah, so whether you've been with me all year or joined part way through, thank you very much for being here with us. And yeah, so we're looking forward to another year of Flosstube, and it'll be my 5-year Flosstube anniversary next year. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, so thank you very much. I hope everyone's had a lovely December and is getting ready for the new year. So, and I will see you all soon. So from me and Coco, I love you lots, and bye-bye. You comfy?